Hello and welcome to AM Language. This is the 2 o'clock session and this is pre-intermediate. I'm just going to share the lesson online and then we can begin. Okay, and the lesson is now shared. So I hope everyone is doing well. It's a lovely day today, really lovely day. I look forward to going outside to do some exercise in a little bit. LVScom, good afternoon, Richard. LVScom, good afternoon to you as well. Maria, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone has had a nice lunch. I had a nice lunch today. What did I have? I had pasta. That's what I had. Yes, that was okay. In this lesson, we're going to look. We're going to continue Unit 12 in the pre-intermediate book, and we're going to be on page 110. Page 110. I'm not going to start just yet. I'm going to wait for more people to join. And I think some people might have one or two internet connection difficulties as well. So I'm not going to start just yet. While we wait for more people to join and to sort out their connection, just to let you guys know, in today's lesson, we're going to look at reporting speech. We're going to discuss what's a nightmare, what we mean by something being a nightmare, and we will also build our vocabulary, especially when it comes to reporting something of crimes. And then if there is time, we'll continue to look at some more vocabulary as well. Sorry, what page? Yes, it's 110 LVScom. It's 110 in pre-intermediate. Joanna says, good afternoon, Richard. Good afternoon, Joanna. Thank you very much for joining. Hope you are well. So that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at what we mean by what a nightmare, and then we'll go into some grammar, and then we're going to look at some building of building vocabulary. I think later in the day, I'm definitely going to have to try find some time to go outside and just enjoy the outdoors for a little bit. It's very difficult to be inside all day, not going outside. So I think afterwards, late after work today, I think I'm going to go outside onto my terrace and enjoy the sun and maybe do some exercise. I hope everyone is doing some exercise, eating well, trying to stay healthy during this period. I hope all of you are able to try and catch some of the sun. We'll give it just a couple more minutes, and then we will start. Just to remind you, please check your emails. You will be getting an email over the coming days. By the way, when I say over the coming days, okay, for instance, you will be getting an email over the coming days. Over the coming days simply means over the coming days simply means in the next 2 days. So you'll be getting an email over the coming days. This means over the coming days means in the next 2 to 3 days, usually. About 2 to 3 days. So you'll be getting an email in the next 2 to 3 days, probably tomorrow. about your Zoom lessons as well, your online Zoom lessons that will be in the morning. I will be posting probably sometime tomorrow about next week as well in terms of YouTube, lessons as well. So next week, you guys who are still at AM, you will have the option. I downloaded Zoom app. Well done, Maria. That's a good idea. You can download the Zoom app actually. That is for free as well. I've tried the Zoom app, and I think the Zoom app is quite good. If you are in your position as the student, you definitely can follow a lesson, no problem. So next week you will have a mix of YouTube and, well, YouTube in the afternoon, but Zoom lessons in the morning. Okay. So we will begin, and let's start off. Wait a minute, Irina, we need a web camera for Zoom lessons. Well, my answer to that would be no, you do not need a webcam to participate in a Zoom lesson. You just need a good enough connection. However, a microphone is definitely more important. You do need some kind of microphone, which is why a phone is good, or if you have a microphone inbuilt microphone in your laptop, a microphone will help because it means you can practice your speaking. So if you don't have a webcam and you're not sure that your laptop has an inbuilt microphone, it should do inbuilt microphone, then use your phone if you don't. Maria, but Richard, the problem is there are many options about Zoom. Many problems about Zoom. Do you mean many problems, many options or problems? If you're talking about, I'm not sure what you mean by options, and I'm not sure what you mean by problems. Any problems with Zoom is going to be controlled by the host, the teacher. There are certain settings that can solve certain problems. As for options, all you need to do is that you will receive a link, an email with a link, and you just need to click on the link, and that link will take you to the class. That's all you need to do. Anything else that is not you don't need to worry about that. That is for the teacher to look at. Okay, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. So let's begin. So the topic of today is, let's see, there are many Zoom apps. When I was looking, I selected the first option. Can I attend the lesson of other levels? Okay, let me answer. I have doubt about my scheduled classes. Okay, let me answer your questions. So, question number 1, Zoom. Your Zoom app should look like this one. Oh, wrong one. Okay, let me try that again. So, here we go. That is your Zoom app. That's what the Zoom app should like. It's got Zoom, it's blue, and it's got like a little camera. So that's the answer to your question, Maria. Can I attend lessons of other levels? LVS.com, you can attend different levels in terms of YouTube, but for Zoom, you can only attend the lesson for your level and your class. So to answer your question, LVS.com, no, you cannot attend lessons of other levels, only your level. So if you are pre-intermediate, you will only be able to attend the pre-intermediate class. But in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will be hosting a YouTube lesson every day for 45 minutes, which is open to all levels as well. Joanna, I have doubt about my scheduled classes. Okay, you will receive more. You will receive your timetable about when your Zoom lesson is next week. You will receive your Zoom timetable for next week. Don't worry, you should have that by the end of tomorrow. Maria, yes, I have that. Great, LVS.com. Great, excellent, LVS.com. I'm happy that I was able to answer your question. So yes, Zoom lessons only for your level. YouTube, that's open. Maria, do you will teaching? Will I teach elementary? Me personally. So your question is, will you teach the elementary class? The answer is yes. I will be teaching. I will teach the elementary class. I will teach the beginner class. I will also teach a pre-intermediate class in the morning as well. If you are intermediate or up intermediate or advanced, you'll have different teachers. But I will be teaching the lower levels. Maria, thanks. Excellent. Okay, very good. So let's begin. Like I said, guys, if you still have any questions or if anything is not clear, please simply ask. I'm just going to write the answers to my questions of just now. So one, yes, download the Zoom app. 2, Zoom lessons only for your level. YouTube open to all levels. And 3 and 4, yes, I'll be teaching the elementary class. Okay, so that should answer all 4 questions you guys have asked me. Okay, let's begin. So, what a nightmare! What a nightmare. What a nightmare. So this is on page 110. Maria, Richard, I have 2 books, elementary and pre-intermediate. I just can have 1 lesson online. I have Maria again. Richard, I have 2 books, elementary and pre-intermediate. I can just, yes, Maria. So you will have the lesson. You will have a Zoom lesson which is according to your current level. So if you are currently a pre-intermediate student, then you will have a pre-intermediate Zoom lesson. If you are an elementary student, you will have an elementary Zoom lesson. So you will have whatever your current level is, that is the level that your Zoom lesson will be on. Okay. So, guys, let's begin. What a nightmare. First of all, when we say what a nightmare, this is a synonym of, okay, you've got what a nightmare. What a headache. What a headache. What a problem. What a problem. What a situation. What we mean by this, we're talking about something that is a problem of some kind. And so when you say what a nightmare, it means that this is a really this is a difficult problem in some sort of way. Now, it doesn't mean the task is difficult. Maybe it's the people, or the other way around. Maybe the people are okay, but the problem is difficult. This can often happen with traveling. So this happened. This has happened to me a couple of times. This happened to me maybe at least 2 or 3 times in 2019 when traveling. For instance, if your flight is delayed, if your flight is cancelled. I remember at the start of the year, I was flying from London back to Malta with British Airways, and the weather in England was really bad, and my plane was cancelled. And to get back to Malta, I had to take a train. I had to get a different plane. I had to pay more money. And it was a nightmare. It was difficult. It was annoying. If, for example, if you were traveling just before every country stopped flights or countries went into lockdown because of the coronavirus, the situation is a nightmare. So this happens a lot when traveling. Another problem, of course, is that you can also use when talking about a nightmare is, let's say, your computers. Yeah, actually computers. So, for instance, you are trying to use your computer for something and the computer isn't working properly. That is a headache. You can say, I mean, that is a nightmare. That is a headache. That is a problem. That is a situation. So let me know in the comments below, in the live chat section here. Let me know what you would describe as a nightmare at the moment. Maybe you think it's a nightmare being stuck inside. Maybe you think it's a nightmare maybe you think it's a nightmare trying to shop at the moment. I can say from my own experience that trying to shop in supermarkets at the moment is a headache. It can be difficult. It can be difficult to find what you're looking for. In many supermarkets at the moment, you can't always find what you are looking for. So that is a headache. Now, you can use a bit of as well. It's a bit of a nightmare. Would we say a bit of a nightmare? It's a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. It's a bit of a headache as well. You could do that. So this is not an extreme. It's not, what a nightmare, but it's a little bit. It's a little bit of a nightmare. It's a little bit of a headache. So LVS.com, my currency was highly impacted. What a nightmare. LVS.com, okay, I can see that you put heightmare instead of nightmare, but the N and the H on the keyboard is very close. So I know that's just what we call a typo. That's a typo. So it's not a mistake because you don't know the spelling. It's a mistake because of technology. It happens to me all the time on my phone. I type what I think, I send, I look, and I think, oh, whoops, there are typos. There's a mistake, not because I don't know, it's because of the letters. It's a bit like it happens quite a lot. But yes, LVS.com, that is a very good example. My currency was highly impacted. I have to say, by the way, really good opening sentence. My currency was highly impacted. Great passive. What a nightmare. Excellent. Really good example. Good stuff. Let's see. Sorry, not passive. What am I saying? No, great example of, using the adjective, but using an adverb with the adjective. Sorry. So yes, my currency was highly impacted. You've got the adverb and adjective impact. That's what I wanted to say. Really good. Well done. By the way, when you say something and it's a mistake and it's not, again, it's like the equivalent of a typo. It's called slip of the tongue. Slip of a tongue. Yeah, slip of the tongue. So this is like when you're speaking and you make a mistake, but it's not a mistake that you made because you don't know. It's like the typo, except with your mouth. It's called a slip of the tongue. A slip of the tongue. So you by accident, you accidentally say the wrong thing. Joanna, come back home now is a nightmare. Many borders are closed. Okay, that's a really good sentence. The only thing I would change is instead of come, going. Going back home now is a nightmare. Many borders are closed. Just change it to going. Excellent sentence. Maria, can I say I have some nightmares? Can I have some nightmares? Do you mean sleeping at night? Because that might help me what you mean. Is it talking about sleeping? Are you talking about um, a difficult night in some sort of way? I mean, we could say I had a nightmare of a night. Now, this just means it's not talking about nightmares as in bad dreams. This means you had a difficult night. That's what it means. So if you say, I had a nightmare of a night, it means you had a difficult night. It does not mean bad dreams, because on its own, if you were to say, I had a nightmare, for instance, it could mean I had bad dreams, for example. So we need to make sure our context of this term nightmare is correct. It can mean difficult or it can mean a bad dream. So I'll write that in there. Nightmare can be a bad dream, or it can be nightmare as in something that is difficult. So difficult. So the context will make a difference. Okay, let's move on. So we've now had a little discussion about a nightmare in the context of a difficult situation. So at the if we look at page 110, unfortunately we can't do questions 2 and 3 because of the listening. We can't do 4 because we don't know who Bettina is, and we cannot do 5. Now, I should say next week, what you guys will do in your Zoom lessons is that you will go over the past 3 weeks of the different units, and you will look at the different things that could not be covered through YouTube. So you will look at some listening. And one of the other things that you guys will get to do is lots of talking as well. You will have the opportunity to practice your speaking and practice your listening as well, and hopefully a bit of reading. So next week you will get to look at many of the different questions that we could not cover during the YouTube lessons. So you will have it's a good opportunity to make sure that you can actually, if you have tried any of the other exercises, for example, it's also a good opportunity to ask your teacher, or me if I'm your teacher, about some of the questions that you tried to answer, but we could not look at during the YouTube lessons. But we do come on to reporting speech, and this is a really important bit of grammar. Now, I know through my time from teaching, it is very normal for people to say she, say, me, or he, say, me. First of all, I'm going to write this in, he, say, me, or she, say, me. Okay, this is wrong. We can never say he say me or she say me. This is impossible. I can understand what you mean, but we cannot say this. What we need to do is, first of all, said. She or he, say, said. Then you've got an option. You can either go with that, or you can move straight on to she said, and then you go straight in with the subject of your sentence. So, for example, she said John was going to be late. He said, um, company was going to move location. They said they didn't have any more toilet paper. Okay, so this is how it works. This is the option. I'll write one more with that. Let's say we said that we were going to be late for work. Okay, so here you can see the structure. We said when you use reporting speech, you put we said, they said, I said, she said, he said before the subject of your sentence. And then you continue. So after said, that's when the next word has to be your subject. So it might be a pronoun, it might be the name of a company, it might be, it's going to be a noun of some kind. We do have the option to put said that as well. That is an option as well. Now, the other thing that we can do is told. Okay, so again, he or she told, then we need a pronoun plus pronoun. Pronoun. Okay. Plus, then you've got the option of that again, or simply your subject. So, how does this work? She told me that she was going to stay at home. He told me that he was going to miss the party. He told his mum that he would call her later. They told us they were going to miss their flight. Okay, so that is how the structure works. Let's do one more. We told them that we didn't have enough water. So that is how we can use it. That is the structure of what we're looking for. So now that we can see the structure, Maria, you tell me is correct? Okay, in the present simple, you can use you tell me as a request. As a request. In the present, you can use it as a question, as a request. For instance, a person A might say, they might say something like, I want to buy something for my mum. Person B, you tell me, what would your mum like? Tell me. Yeah, we would use this more in the present simple, but it would be like a request. So, for instance, person A, I want to buy something for my mum. And the shop assistant says, tell me, what would your mum like? Tell me, what would your mum like? So we can only use this in a very specific way. It's not in the way that I think you meant to write. Maria, you also said, or sound better, tell me. Okay, so I think I've answered that question. So yes, I think I've answered your question there. There are many different ways as we go through where we can use the reported speech in slightly different contexts. But as soon as we start looking at the present version of it, it's a little bit different, and we have to be a bit careful. And I don't want to confuse you. So we're just going to concentrate on the past. But thank you very much for your questions. So let's have a look at 6. Okay, this is on page 110. It says, look at these 2 sentences from the conversations. The first is direct speech from Bettina's first conversation with the bank. The second is how she reported it. And then we need to answer the questions below. So A, we've got, I've cancelled your cards and ordered new ones. And they'll be with you within 3 or 4 days. Okay. And in B, we've got the guy I spoke to told me he'd the guy I spoke to told me he'd actually, for he would, he'd cancelled, sorry, he as in he had, I'll put them brackets, he had cancelled them, and that the new cards would be with me within 3 to 4 days. The first thing we have to look at is 1. What tenses or structures are used in direct speech in A? So we've got I've cancelled. So if we look at the structures in A, we've got I've cancelled, which is a present perfect. Your cards, plus past simple and ordered new ones. And they, well, comma, plus future simple, and they'll be with you within 3 or 4 days. Okay, so with this direct speech, telling the person what you have done, we're using the present perfect, past simple, and then future simple. Quite complicated. In B, what tenses, structures are used to report speech in B? So if we look, the guy I spoke to told me. So the first bit is past simple. Plus, he'd cancelled them. He had cancelled them. Now we've got a past perfect. And that the new cards would be with me within 3 to 4 days. Now, that the new cards would. Now here, what we're doing is would be. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm representing modal verbs. Okay. You are going to have a modal verb of some kind, would be, and then the rest of your sentence. So that's the structure for reported speech. And then 3, how would you report someone saying, I'm very sorry? How would you report someone saying, I'm very sorry? Well, in that context, this is number 3. If it were me, okay, if I were to respond to it, I'm going to be using this. First of all, I would start off with a present simple that focuses on the problem in the present. Then I'm going to continue that with a present perfect, which is actually, I should put this before. I'm going to use a present simple plus a present perfect to talk about the problem in the present, and then to talk about the solution, I'm going to use a modal verb to continue my sentence to explain how the problem is going to be solved or when the problem is going to be solved. So it's a little bit heavy. I think one of the things we can do here is, before we look at exercise 7, let's take an opportunity. I'm going to write some sentences for you guys, and I would like you to try and complete them. Okay, so let's start off with one. Let's start off with what I was talking about before. One. Okay, we're going to go with first direct. Okay, let's say Okay, let's go with. Okay, so that's number one. Number two. Okay, so have a go at trying to do that for me. Try and have a go completing those two sentences for me. So the first one is direct speech. I something related to the word has cancelled your hotel booking for the 8th, and your new something related to book is for the 9th. And then the second one is he blank me. So here, the blank, you need to think of the type of reported speech that's going on here. That he something related to cancel my booking, but I have a booking for the 9th. But I, here you're going to need to think of a modal verb. Modal verb have a booking for the 9th, which is into the future. So if you guys could have a little go, see if you can put the correct answers in there. See if you can put the correct answers in there. And once you've done that, we'll just have a little conversation about the difference between said and told, and then we'll look at questions in number 7. Joanna, I have cancelled your hotel booking for the 8th, and your new booking is for the 9th. Excellent. Well done, Joanna. That is very good. No. Yes, that is excellent. Well done, Joanna. That's a very good answer. There we go. Okay. So well done there. Right. Yes, so that's the answer for number 1. Joanna has got that correct. I have cancelled your hotel booking for the 8th, and your new booking is for the 9th. Maria, he cancelled my booking, but I have a booking. Not quite. Not quite. You are close. So let's look at the first one. He cancelled my booking. You're forgetting the bit before. But from the part that you've gone from, Maria, is he cancelled my booking? Yes. But now this is going to go in talking about into the future. So we can't use had. We need to use a different verb. We have to use a different verb. If you look at some of my examples up there, you might be able to find the correct answer. Have another go. So you're halfway there, Maria. You're 50% right. So don't forget about the first part, and we need to change had. Can you guys think of what the correct answer is? Can you guys think of what the correct answer is? And then if needs be, I will give more examples afterwards. Okay, he told me, yes. That's he cancelled my booking, but I will have a booking for the 9th. Yes. Joanna, that is correct. Well done. That is the correct answer. So we can see that is the structure. That is what we have to work off. Now, I should say told. When do you use told instead of said? If it's just a general conversation, general, social conversation, most of the time it's going to be said. Most of the time. If it's a work-related conversation, or uh, or customer-related, then it's more likely to be told. Sometimes when told and said, we could use either or. Both would be correct. But a lot of the time in general, in social conversations, we might say said more often. While in the professional workplace, we might be we're more likely to use told. Okay, good, well done. Now let's look at number 7. Let's look at number 7 to help us here. So we're going to look at this extract. So extract is a bit from an email that Bettina sent to a friend. The reported speech is in italics. We need to decide what we think the direct speech was. So this is a little bit difficult here. So here we have, I just couldn't believe someone could be using my card. I asked the guy how that happened, and he just said he had to speak to the manager. I was then waiting for another 10 minutes. Anyway, eventually I was put through to the manager, and she told me they had sent the cards to the wrong address. She said that there had been some security issues, and someone had probably hacked into my account and changed all my information before the cards were actually sent. Apparently, similar things have happened at other banks too. She told me to change all my passwords, and she promised the bank would repay any money I'd lost. So we need to take the words in bold, and we need to think of what the direct speech was. So, for instance, here, if we look at number 1, we've got in bold, I asked the guy how that had happened, and he just said he had to speak to the manager. Okay, so that's what this guy said. So what do we think Guy might have said? Guy. This guy might have said, I'm sorry, but I will have to check or speak to either, got 2 options. I have to check with or speak to my manager. So that would be probably what the guy would have said to this first one in bold. So the conversation might have gone, the woman was telling him what the problem was, and he probably said, I'm sorry, but I will have to check with or speak to my manager. To find out more. Maybe that was the extra bit, to find out more. That could be the answer to number 1. It then goes on, says, anyway, eventually I was put through to the manager, and she told me they had sent the cards to the wrong address. She said that there had been some security issues. So I'm going to write part of the answer to this one, and let's see what you guys put in. So this would be the direct speech again, and this time it's a woman. So this woman said something like, It is looks like. Mhm. So let's try this. Can you guys complete this direct speech for me? Can you guys complete this direct speech for me? So the answer, don't forget, is she told me they had sent the cards to the wrong address. She said that there had been some security issues. So we're now talking about this woman, she. So this person probably said something like this. I'm afraid it looks like the cards were blank. A word related to send, we probably need to make a passive here. To the wrong address. Unfortunately, there something been some security issues. So here we need to make a present perfect as well. So what do you guys think the answer is? What do you think the answer is here? So, Joanna, this woman, I'm afraid it looks like the cards were okay. I can see a typo here. You put D and T together, but I'm guessing the D is a typo. So sent to the wrong address. Unfortunately, there have been some security issues. Yes, Joanna, that is the correct answer. Very well done. And that is a good answer here. That is what the person, that's the direct speech. That's what probably happened. Maria was sending. There have been. Okay. There have been. That is correct. We're sending. In this case, no. We're going to have to make a passive because the action has been completed. It's a past action, but we're saying that someone else did it or someone did it. What we're talking about is the result, not the person who did it, actually. So we're trying to say that the cards were sent. We're not saying who sent them, but we're saying the cards were sent, and this is a finished action. So here we need were sent. It has to be a passive, a passive. Okay, guys, let's look at the last one together. So it says here, she told me to change all my passwords, and she promised the bank would repay. So this is number 3. She told me to change all what did I do? She told me to change all my cards, all my passwords, and she promised the bank would repay any money I'd lost. Okay, so we now need to try and think of what the answer is. So again, I'll write part of the sentence, and this time you guys can finish the sentence for me. So she told me to change all my passwords, and she promised the bank would repay any money I'd lost. So the woman again. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can complete this last one. So this is the direct speech the woman would have said. I'm afraid you change all your passwords, but I'm happy to tell you that the bank is to cover any money you have. Okay. We've got this phrase here, I'm happy to tell you. So this is when we are going to tell a customer, for example, that some good news. I'm happy to tell you. Cover, just to let you guys know, if the bank covers money that was taken, it means the bank will give you the money back. That's what it means. That's what covers means in this case. So let's see if you guys can complete this last sentence. And then unfortunately we are out of time. Sorry. So, Joanna, the woman, I'm afraid you had changed all your passwords, but I'm happy to tell you that the bank is going to cover any money you have lost. Okay, nearly 100%. Don't forget, we're talking about we start off with the present simple. So the next part has to be present perfect. Present perfect. I'm afraid you have to. Actually, this is using the not the present perfect. Sorry, that was a slip of the tongue. Here, what we're looking at is present simple, and within this, we need to use. This is going to be have to. So I'm afraid you have to. So here, LVS.com, you're just missing the two. I'm afraid you have to change all your passwords, but I'm happy to tell you that the bank is going to cover any money you have lost. Very well done, LVS.com, with the exception of you just missed out two, but everything else is excellent. Well done. I would say part of that is probably my fault because I missed out two in the original thing. I should have written this. So it is my I didn't help you guys very well there. I needed to put two. I should have put two. So apologies. I made that harder than it needed to be. So guys, but well done, LVS.com. Happy to tell you that the bank is going to cover any money you have lost. So Joanna and LVS.com, thank you very much for your answers. The first part of the sentence, that's my mistake. I left out two. That made it unfair. It was harder. But you both got the rest of the sentence right. You got the present continuous, and you managed to finish off with the present perfect with have lost. So really well done there, guys. And that brings us to the end of this lesson. After this, at 4 o'clock, there is the next, this is the next lesson. There will be the intermediate lessons for the intermediate. And one of the things we can do with this is, for instance, I know that in my lesson next week, in the Zoom lesson, I will go over this again and try to develop this as well. If you guys have any questions, please leave your questions in the comment section below the video, and I will do my best to answer. thank you so much for watching today. And for those of you who participated, who tried to give answers, thank you very much. You've worked very hard and you've done very, very well. It's not easy without a whiteboard, but you guys did really well and you were able to follow. So I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much, guys. And I will see you guys either later today at 4 o'clock, or I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, in the afternoon, there are 2 lessons tomorrow afternoon for everyone. The first one is at 2 o'clock, which is to do with speaking, how you can improve your speaking for job interviews in English. And later at 4 o'clock, where we'll be looking at emails that you can write when it comes to trying to apply for jobs. So I will see you guys tomorrow if I don't see you guys at 4 o'clock for the intermediate lesson. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Enjoy the sun. And don't forget to like and share the video. And I will see you later.